Bitcoin has been hyped up recently. There is another unfamiliar term, blockchain. Recently, more and more people have mentioned. First, blockchain is not equivalent to Bitcoin. Blockchain is the technological foundation behind Bitcoin. You see, cash is less and less present in our lives. They have all become one by one number when paying online. And everyone is convinced that these numbers represent wealth. This fully shows that in a trading system, as long as there is a reliable ledger to understand the account, even if there are no physical banknotes, the entire transaction system will not be messed up. The blockchain is a bookkeeping method that is different from traditional bookkeeping. Traditional online payments, although ostensibly direct transactions, but behind every transaction, there is a third-party transaction intermediary. This intermediary is often a trusted authority, such as the government, banks, or some large companies. This intermediary is responsible for recording every transaction information in the system and organize this information into a huge ledger. But once this ledger is hacked and tampered with, then the whole system could be in crisis. In the transaction system with blockchain accounting, there is no such traditional transaction center, so there is no risk of the whole system collapsing from the center. In the blockchain system, every transaction happens directly between the two parties. Both parties to the transaction will broadcast the transaction information. Then there will be a lot of volunteers to record these transaction information, organize into a clear ledger, then broadcast this ledger back to the system. The ledger in the blockchain system is not managed by a single transaction center. Instead, it is jointly managed by every participant in the system at the same time, unless the hacker can attack all the players in the world at the same time. Otherwise, this ledger will not disappear. However, in the case of many volunteers keeping accounts at the same time, how can we ensure that there will be no various ledgers in the system? This depends on some clever designs based on cryptography in the blockchain. In the blockchain system, every time a new block is generated, used to store the transaction information just generated, volunteers must solve a cryptographic puzzle to make the block complete and valid. The first volunteer to solve the puzzle will record the answer at the end of the block and broadcast this complete block to the whole system. After the other volunteers learn that the puzzle had been solved, we'll stop the work in hand.